Hi, I'm Raymond, and this is going to be a continuation of my last video. And basically, I'm going to be showing you the basics of Python. So let's get into it. So when you open up PyCharm, which I showed you how to install in the last video, you're going to come up with a screen like this. It's also going to give you a tip box. It's going to show you just like a tip of the day. But you could just close that. Just right click, go to new in Python file. You can name it whatever. Video. So I'm gonna be showing you guys the most basic thing you can do in code is to initialize a variable. So there's two types of variables, integers and strings. So let's go video equals 1. So that's a variable that's initialized to a integer because it's a number, and then I'll go name equals ray, and that's a variable initialized as a string because it could be a string of words, it could be multiple words, it could be as long as you want it. So ray is my name, and yeah, because this is Python 3, you have to use these quotations. Yeah, so that's the most basic thing you can do in Python. Python is an object-oriented language. It's not fully object-oriented. So, but what that means is these variables are objects and they can be manipulated throughout the code, even with other objects. So another one of the most basic things you can do in code is the print. So print, and then you can print out name. You can print out a variable. To run a code, you just right click, run. There, I was running the wrong code for a second. Yeah, and it prints out Ray is my name because name is equal to this string of words. But if I put print out name, can also print out video, which is equal to 1. So that's just really basic things you can do. But now I'm gonna show you guys some more higher level, still basic but higher level code that I've been working on in class and stuff. So no, not that. Alright, so I'm just gonna break down this piece of code here. So this here is another kind of variable. It's an array, which is just a list of numbers. And what differentiates an array from other kinds of variables is it has these square brackets and then commas separating each numbers. And you can do that to, you can use it for a lot of things. Right now I'm using it as an input for this function. So here we have the define statement. What define does is it makes the name of your function. And what a function is it's kind of like an umbrella. It's like an umbrella term that you can use to act out certain actions in your code. So here I have the name of the function is count. And in count, I initialize a variable named yo. So I just have yo equals 0 because I want it to count up later in the code. So I want it set at 0. And right here I have for I in sequence. So right here I'm creating a for loop. A for loop is for, and then it could be, this could be any variable. It could be I, it could be X, it could be anything like that. For I in sequence. So I stands, it means for every number in sequence, it's gonna go through each of these numbers. It's gonna loop through each of these numbers, and then if I, so let's say it's gonna go, the first time it goes through the code, it's gonna be 1. So if 1 is divisible by item, so item is my second variable, item's equal to 1, so it's asking if 1 divided by 1 equals 1, then add a number to yo. And then return yo basically means once the loop is finished running, then I will get the new value of yo. So basically what this code does is it counts how many times a number is in a list. So right here, item is, the number we're looking for is 1, I mean. And our list is 1, 2, 1, 1. So here we're finding for every number in the list, check if that number is divisible by 1 and if that equals 1. So it's checking 1 divided by 1 equals 1, okay, then that's 1, so we add it to this list yo, to this variable yo, and then it goes to the second one, goes to 2 divided by 1 is 2, so that's not it. It goes to 1 and it does it again. So I'm gonna run it so you can see. So here I get 3 because I have the print. It prints out the function because I have it asked to return yo, and that's going to be the new value that the function has. So it prints that out, and there's 3 1s, so we get 3. And we could also ask it to do 2, so it'll find how many 2s are in here. So let's run it again. There's 1 2. So yeah, that's how that works. I'm gonna show you this one. This is, I probably shouldn't have started that one. That was a little bit more complex than these other ones. So yeah. Oh, so here we have another define statement. It initializes the name. So this is a function to see if a number is even. So we have here x because it's asking for an input directly into the function. So it differentiates here how I don't have a direct input. As you can see, there's a difference here because here I'm putting the input into the print, and here it's grabbing the input from the other parts of the code from sequence and item. So that's just a small difference in the code. So it's defining the code, and this is an if statement. So it's asking if this, do that. So if x modulo 2, modulo means if x divided by 2, if the remainder of that is equal to 0, then return true. So modulo is just an order of operations to find the remainder. So if the remainder is 0, return true. That means it is even, and else if you don't get the desired outcome, you get return false. So I'm gonna run this one false because then it ends in 1, so it's not divisible by 2, it's not even, so it's false. So if I change that to 2, run it again, it is divisible by 2, it's true, came back as true. So this one is very similar. You have the definition of the function stating the name, also again asking for the input directly into the print statement of the function, and you also, like in this first one, you're initializing a variable, this new variable being new list, and this one we're going to be adding all the even numbers to a new list, and it's going to print out our new list. So for I and x, this being x, as you can see here, I'm clarifying that this is x, and here it's also x. So for every number in this list, in this array, it's finding if it is divisible by 2, and if it is, it's appending or adding I, which is that number, to the new list, and then return is it's coming back with that new value. So we're gonna run this one. So we get 2, 4, and 6 because those are the 2 even numbers. So the 3 even numbers there. And then here we have a function to find the product of a list of numbers. So I'm just gonna run it first. So here we have a list similar to this one, how you're initializing the variable before and not having to input anything directly into the function. Can close these. So right here I have a product. I have it set as 1 because if I had it as 0 like in the other one, it's just gonna multiply to 0, so we have to set it as 1. So for every number in this list, it's going to have this 1 multiplied by that number, so it's gonna go 1 times 2, 1 times 1 times 1, 1 times 2, and 2 times 3, and then it's gonna return that new value. So run, and I have 6. So yeah, that's just some basics of code, just some basic functions that you can do using for loops, return, really basic stuff.